Welcome to this month's Soulcast and Energy Report. Excited to be with you guys today. I wasn't able to do it in June. I was dealing with some health stuff, but I'm back on track and I'm excited to be here. And if you're new to me, my name is Donald Davis, and I've been a channel for over 20 years, as well as a healer and a transformational mentor for the last 12 years. So I bring these reports to you in a way that I channel the information for you collectively and personally, and provide a way for you to navigate these times that we're in such a way that you're really working with your soul alignment and really coming into the highest energetic possible so you can become a vibrational match to the future that you want to receive. I have been trained in futuring and I love working with the different qualities and types of futures. There's four different types, and brilliant is my favorite. There's dark, dim, bright, brilliant. Darkness is kind of what we see sometimes in the collective when everybody's in fear and there's war and different things going on. But there's another way. There's the more that we can work on ourselves and know how to navigate things individually, we become an amazing contribution to the collective. Our light can help transform many different situations around us. So, this is coming to you with that intentionality. And I just want to share before I go into it. I already pulled all the cards. I actually tried to film this earlier and my computer froze. It was kind of interesting. I just got done filming a 3-day live experience that you can still hop into. If you're listening to this in like the first week of July, reach out to me, just comment manifesting. And what it's about, it's called Becoming Her Now. And it was an incredible 3 days or a first day. It's about really getting in touch with who your future self is, what's possible, and doing a deep hypnosis where you get to meet her. The second day, it was really about the hold the past can have on us, releasing and clearing the resistance and the blocks that are standing in our way of becoming her. And then last but not least, the third day was weaving it all together, integration, and why you probably haven't manifested her yet, that dream version of you that you want to be. So I go through the four ways that I see that people kind of get stuck. And the meditations in it are so potent. So just message me manifest and I will send you the link to join and get all the videos. And I'm going to be opening up a round of my Manifest Her program, which is going to be a 6-month program, which is incredible. So if you want to know more, reach out to me. Okay. So the month of July, we get this beautiful Wheel of Fortune card. In this deck, it's called Destiny. And what I love about this card is the energy that you have to be in of flow, of paying attention, mindfulness. And I love how what I receive from this card is hand on heart, hand on belly, because we have to be holding our hearts dearly lately. There's so much change and transition. The astrology just alone has been ushering in so much. And this month is going to be full of surprises and changes and big up levels. And I really believe there's such an opportunity for the tides to turn, the energy to shift, to be in your favor in a way that allows you to step into some form of a dream, something that you've been working on, something that you've been calling in. But the issue with the energy of July is because there's so much change, it could be easy to be wobbly energetically. And I say that what I mean by that is think about being on a boat and in the ocean and there's all the waves and you're trying to keep your balance, but a big wave comes and it could be easy to fall down, get, even feel seasickness, but the energetics of wobbly just mean that you don't have your center. It's almost like your core isn't activated, so you could fall. So I want you to think about what it is that you need to do to stay centered this month, centered in what it is that you're working on. And what I was hearing earlier is that there might be something that's really challenging in your reality right now, where you're like, oh, this just isn't working, or you might be losing faith, or This is a month that you can really tend to it and expect the unexpected. Maybe something shifts in your external reality, so you get that forward momentum moving forward. But I want you to befriend change. And I know for a lot of people, they don't like change. They're like, I want things to stay the same. But what's kind of happening, Spirit is saying, is we're being ushered into a collective awakening. And I know most of you that are spiritual know that. And we have to shake the stagnation from our lives. We cannot stay the same. This whole time is designed for you to activate the highest aspects of who you are. So, your gifts, your purpose, your mission on this planet, why you came here to incarnate, and to really release and let go of the ways that you've been playing small, the ways that you doubt yourself and you choose out of fear and you settle for less. And this card is saying if you get really clear on your worthiness and why you're here and how you could stay centered in your core, in your solar plexus, and keep your heart open to the possibilities, then you're going to have a lot of synchronicities and a lot of things coming your way that could support you and have you really feel like the energy shifting and it's getting better and there's more alignment. And it does require you, though, to see the multidimensionality of life. Like you can't just move through this time and just kind of have blinders on. You have to really see things for what they are, which means you have to listen to your intuition. You have to be feeling. You have to be willing to take the good with the bad and not let the bad bowl you over energetically or let the news take you out, and be like, oh my God, where's our world going? Like, I want to come back to that energy of things are moving in such a way that you might find some real gorgeous momentum this month and you might see it's like the God winks or the future leaving you clues, knowing you're on the right path. So I want you to see July as that. I think numerology wise, it's a 16 month, which is a seven. Seven has a lot to do with our frequency. It has so much to do with our energy and how we're holding and staying in the frequency of what we want to create. And I think oftentimes when we are challenged, because I do want you to think about what is your area of challenge this month, because that is going to be your teacher. And I want you to think about how you're positioning yourself in your life around that challenge. Are you coming from fear and lack and thinking it's never going to change? Or are you open-hearted and trusting that it's there for a reason to teach you something and be a catalytic thing for you to work with and move forward? Okay, so Wheel of Fortune, destiny, what you want wants you to really seeing it as you're moving towards the things that you desire. And just like that boat metaphor I gave, the boat is heading somewhere towards your destiny, let's just say, towards that next thing that you're working on or where you want to go. The key is to stay grounded, to stay in your own energy, have good energy hygiene this month. Don't get so taken aback with everything that you're wobbly. Okay. So then we move into the first week of July. And today is the first one when I'm filming this. And we have July 4th this week where Neptune goes retrograde. And that is an energy in of itself that I just want to speak to, where Neptune rules Pisces, is a planet of spirituality, of healing. So as Neptune retrogrades, you're going to have an opportunity to see more of your inner truth, more of your own psychology, more capacity to heal. The key is that we got this card that is memories of love. And this is a six card, which I love the energy of the six. But this card is one of those cards where we can get really nostalgic and almost like want to go backwards, like want things to be like they used to be. Like, why are things so difficult right now? Maybe you feel like life is really sobering right now for you. I know because I'm in a Saturn, there's some Saturn transits happening right now. And it's like, oh my God, so sobering, so disciplined. But that being said, this card is asking you not to ruminate in the past. It's saying so much can open up for you this week if you're willing to let go of the density of the past. So you may have to focus on forgiveness. You may have to give yourself some compassion for who you used to be and maybe why you felt like things didn't work out for you. Because if you're holding on so tightly to what occurred and you haven't alchemized it, like I really encourage you guys, if you can't look back at your past and almost have a story, like a book where you go, okay, yeah, that happened to me, but that was good, like that. And I'm not talking, and I know that a lot of shitty things have happened to people. But at some point, you have to free yourself from being the victim of that storyline. Otherwise, you're always going to be rooted in the past. Like a fragmentation, a part of your soul is rooted in the past. And part of our healing process is coming home to ourselves, calling back those parts of ourselves that we left frozen in time. So see this week as whatever comes up for you, where maybe you feel a little nostalgic about the past. I love nostalgia. I'm a very nostalgic person. I have so many good memories of things that have happened in my life, travel, love, kids, all the things, right? And we can't, we don't want to go back and take up residence. We just want to go out and go back to the past to kind of like maybe get a feel good moment. Maybe you need to borrow a little bit. Like maybe there was a time when you were wildly successful in your past and you want to go back there and say, okay, what was I doing then that really supported me? But I also want you to think about the future, right? In managing that part of you that doesn't think that the past was the best it was going to be. The future holds all the unlimited potentials and possibilities. So if you think that the past, was, oh, I'm never going to meet anybody like I met, or I'm never going to have another this or that, or I should have done this, you're a prisoner to the past. And that means that you don't have the bandwidth to think about who you get to be in the future. You can only have so much direction. It's either the past or the future. So I want you to think about with this card, like, how do you come into inner harmony with your life in the present moment? Where do you keep feeling drawn back? Or are you going into the future with worry? Because we don't want to do that either. When I talk about futuring, it's an act of getting excited and using the future it's like you're co-regulating with your future self. Most people co-regulate with their past self. So this is all about letting go. Like what needs to move out of your awareness, what needs to be shifted so that you can come into more wholeness this week. And something in your reality might be a stark contrast to the past. Like it might be like, God, my work was so much easier back then, and now it feels really challenging. And I invite you, instead of going into a story, ask more questions and get curious. Just say, okay, God, so why is my work like this? What are you trying to teach me right now? And I just told my clients earlier today, you're not going to necessarily get the answer in that moment, but life will start to bring you the synchronicities and the information to support you in understanding why things are happening. So I also want to say, if you're trying to bring in new things in your life and you have a lot of energetic density, like you haven't forgiven people, like you still are angry about something in the past, think of it as bricks, like really hard bricks that are in your lower chakras. And when you want to bring in new blessings and bring in new things, there's not the space. So this is the week with this, Neptune going retrograde. We're going to be around families. We're in Cancer time. Like take care of yourself emotionally. Love yourself. Just really do a nice check-in. Like, what do I need to let go of? What are the beliefs and the things that are keeping me rooted in the past? And I promise you, if you're able to do that work and have that level of awareness, you're going to kind of feel like maybe like you might feel a little bit like a slingshot where you're being pulled back a little bit, but it's going to spring you forward even more. So it's going to be fantastic. Okay. So then we go into the week of the 7th and we get the deception and envy card. So it's kind of interesting because 7-7 is a really big day. Uranus enters Gemini. And we also have a full moon on 7/10, a full moon in Capricorn. So let me speak to those things before I get into this deception and envy card. When Uranus enters Gemini, Uranus is the planet that typically rules Aquarius. It's all about innovation. It's all about frequency first. It's kind of like the energy is as above, so below. And because Aquarius is very futuristic, it is a very futuristic sign. That's why there's always innovation with it. I want you to think about how this is going to apply to Gemini. Gemini ruling the third house of communication, day-to-day things, um, education. So we're probably going to see some innovation in those areas of your day-to-day life, communication, education across the collective. Okay. I told you this month is going to be full of changes. And so you might notice there's a change to your routine. There's a change to, and it might be a surprise. It might be like, oh, I guess I'm not doing that anymore. Or, oh, I'm moving in this direction. It's not a bad thing, you guys. It's just that this planet is going into Gemini and it's going to be there for a while. And it's leaving Taurus. And I believe it was in Taurus for 7 years. I think it's a 7 year cycle that it's going into. And it's here to change things up. And think about how you communicate with people and how maybe that needs to be innovated. So many times I know a lot of people communicate in a very kind of way that they're always protecting themselves or worried about how they're perceived. And I really do think because your Uranus is like that energy of fly your freak flag, baby. I really think we're going to become more unhinged. Some people unhinged in their communication, but for others, just more free and more liberated in the way they express themselves. And I think that's going to be a really cool thing. I also think with the full moon that we're going to have this week in Capricorn, Capricorn rules our public, outer facing life, career, all that kind of stuff. It's the mountain goat. It's like works hard. Capricorns are like really sturdy. It's ruled by Saturn. They're willing to put in the work. So you might have this full-fledged like career moment. And it might not, it depends on the house, but it does rule that the 10th house. So you might have this moment where you're like, oh, look at how far I've come in my Capricorn energy. Look how far I've come in my work. Look how this discipline has landed me. Look, or you might kind of think, oh gosh, I haven't come far because I haven't been putting the time or energy in. So there's going to be an illumination of maybe where, and this is where this card comes in, where you're deceiving yourself a little bit, like where you haven't been living up to your highest potential. And I don't want this to be, I don't want you to be hard on yourselves, but I want it to be like this full moon to illuminate, good or bad. It's like, okay, Cancer's the crab, the energy, the emotional energy, the mother archetype. Capricorn is the father. It's more stern. It's more ready to get to work. And when there is a beautiful collaboration of those two energies, we can really become unstoppable because you need emotional intelligence combined with that hard work. But if there's a part of you that's still kind of in this deception energy, which could show up in any way, deceptive friendships, not telling your own self the truth, not really seeing how your work is going or whatever area, that challenge of your life. I really want you to, I've said this month, I want you to focus on a challenge. Why? Because it's a teacher. So if money is your challenge, I want you to ask yourself, where might I be deceiving myself? Like, what is the truth that I need to see so that I can have the bank account reflect back my, what I want? Or maybe it's abundance for you or relationship. I don't know. But I really want you to use this card because this is a 7 card. And I really believe that 7 has so much to do with frequency. And if our frequency is in comparison, if our frequency is in this energy of feeling deceived by the collective and what's happening, and there very well might, there's so much programming right now. There's so much trying to take us off in wrong directions in our lives. And so I want you to really be aware of like, what is my truth versus what I'm hearing out here. And if there is envy in your life for some reason, there's ways that you can look at that. If you're envious of what somebody else has, I want you to see that as an invitation to you for you to expand your heart into saying, yeah, I'd like that. I'd like to have that too. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's when you start to like really kind of feel bad about yourself or feel, ill will towards the other person, that envy becomes a very low vibrational energy. So I would use this week wherever you feel like there's untruths or Maybe you're not wanting to see the full picture. Start the week off, divine, show me what it is that I need to see this week. Give me clear sight and vision over my life so I understand if there is any changes that need to be made. And I want to do it in such a way that I feel informed and really grounded and safe about that. Because it just doesn't have to be like an energy that knocks you out because you're asking for the truth. When you ask the divine for the truth, the creator will always give you the truth. Like it'll come through and it'll allow you to make the changes that you need to make. So if you are in this energy with somebody else, if there is someone trying to deceive you, or even if you're deceiving yourself, it comes out. And it doesn't have to be some big, like dun dun dun, like scary thing, like a soap opera. It could be very much like, yeah, that's true. I have been holding myself back. I need to go out and do this thing, whatever it is. Okay. For the week of the 14th, we have a Mercury retrograde starting on the 18th. We also, actually, that's it for that week. That's it for that week. So we have Mercury retrograde in Leo. So the planet of communication is going to be retrograding through Leo, which rules the fifth house. Leo is romance, creativity, projects, children, leadership. So where that is going to show up in your life. So everybody has a different place where Leo falls in their chart. And it would behoove you to look in your chart and see where that is, even for the Capricorn full moon as well. But wherever Mercury is retrograding through where you have Leo, it's going to be a combination of the Leo energy that I just told you, romance, creativity, projects, all that stuff, with whatever house you have it in. So we get the Harmony card. It's called Harmony in this deck, but it's the Lovers card. And this is another 6 card we're getting. So with the Lovers for this week, I think there's going to be an opportunity to come into a higher octave of love this week. And I don't think it just has to be romantic. I think it might be across the board. It's like, okay, who are my soul allies? Who are the people that are my, community? This is a card of really seeing, like I hear the word mirroring. There's a lot of mirroring this week. So you might find that you're learning a lot about yourself through the mirror of other people. You might see yourself admiring something about someone else and realizing if you could see it in someone else, it already lives in you. So I want you to use the Lovers card this week as an opportunity for really looking at that part of your life with the people that you love and how are they contributing? How are they maybe detracting? Like whatever it may be, but it just feels like there's a lot of lovely material to work on and to really connect deeply to your heart. This is an energy that wants you more playful, that wants you more joyful, it wants you kind of like sinking into the summer energy, at least up here in North America, and really kind of understanding that your relationships make your life, especially when things are kind of cuckoo crazy in the collective. We really need to be surrounding ourselves with people that make us feel at home. And so, as we are working with the Lovers card, I really invite you to think about, are there still places? Because, a few earlier in the month, we have the card that's the Memories of Love, which is about the past. Maybe you're doing some follow-up work. Maybe this week you can see the benefit of the work you did with letting go in that week. Maybe you're looking around you and you're saying, I need to let go of some of these characteristics I present in relationship. Maybe it's time for me to lean into more intimacy within my relationship space, with being more truthful, more expressive. How you communicate in your loving relationships is going to be kind of on the table, if you will, with this Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is all how, it's travel, communication, all that kind of stuff. And in the house of Leo, it's really kind of looking at those romantic relationships and it's looking at the way that you show up creatively in your life. So fall in love, maybe real, very, maybe it's a very realistic thing for you. Like you're in a relationship and you're like falling more in love because the lovers does possess that. Maybe you're meeting somebody this week and it's like, ooh, this person's special. Maybe you're deepening into your relationships. And then the last thing is maybe you're looking at the places where you do need to make sure that you're showing up in your fullest truth and fullest self and having these relationships mirror back to you. And you might be noticing, okay, this type of relationship isn't the healthiest for me. So therefore, I'm going to move away from that. And then I'm going to really embrace the ones that are. So this just feels like a balancing act. It doesn't feel like a big thing. It just feels like, okay, I got to balance out some these truths that are going to be coming up for me. And it almost feels like once Mercury goes into retrograde, because there's a preseason, right? For it feels like the work's already started and you're already in it and you're already kind of going, okay, yeah, what do I need to shift here? So, okay. And then we move into the week, ironically, for the week of the 21st, we get this shadow card, which is the moon card in the traditional tarot. And we have a new moon in Leo on the 24th, which I already kind of talked about Leo energy. So we're tracking, right? So the new moon is a time to plant seeds. Maybe you, with the lovers card the week before, you're already like, I know what I want to plant seeds for. I want to bring in my beloved, or I want to deepen in my relationship with my beloved. I want to have more fun, whatever it is. I want to call in more soul mate friends, whatever it may be. Let this week, though, with the new moon, when you're planting those seeds and getting excited about what's possible with your creativity and all that, use this moon card to kind of help illuminate and tap into those psychic insights. This week, it feels like there's a lot of material. There's a lot of information maybe coming in from the collective. Maybe there's already like changes happening and things are going on. And it's like, oh my God, how do I process all this? Like, how do I make sense of all of this? And this card always means that there's stuff behind the scenes that you haven't fully seen yet, that you might have a psychic awareness or intuitive hit about something, but you're waiting for it all to be revealed. So this is a shadowy card in some ways because you feel the shadow, but you don't know exactly what it is, or you're working in the shadows. You're working kind of more in the darkness of things and going, okay, what is this? And like you might see the more shadowy content of other people this week. You might be like, God, that person's acting out. They're being weird. Like, what is going on here? Why are you being shown that? That's the question I want you to ask. If you ask, the creator spirit, what, because we're coming off the lovers week, like what is this shadowy content, whether it's in myself or in others, informing me of? I always think that shadow work is it's such an incredible opportunity to reclaim parts of ourselves that are like the acting out, because it's a part of yourself that you've denied or repressed. So don't be surprised this week if you see people like kind of on edge or acting out a little bit, because I think people are going to be feeling that there's a lot going on that they can't quite process or make sense of yet. So with the moon card as well, it's an 18 card, but that's a 9. So 9 is completion, some endings. And so maybe kind of what I'm receiving is like the shadowy work that you're going to be privy to, whether in yourself or others, helps you complete something. It helps you finish something. And maybe it helps you make sense of something once it all comes together. And I know this feels like very full moon energy, right? But because full moons illuminate, but this is a new moon energy that we're talking about. But it's the essence of this week, this card really just highlighting and showing you these elements of yourself that when you kind of bring to the light and you really work with and cooperate with those parts of yourself that you usually repress, that you become more whole, that you become more sturdy and steady. You bring more opportunities to you when you're able to clear the energetic density that is within you, especially in those lower chakras. And that's what this feels like, is you're really kind of doing some heavy lifting, because I feel like as the shadow animates more in the collective, it kind of in the macro, right? It also works on the micro as well, and kind of highlights within your little world where the shadow is playing out. So see, this is not something to be scared of, but something where you're already forewarned. Like if somebody's acting a fool, you're like, okay, you're being a little crazy. But to not judge it, maybe to try and see if you can have compassion, but more to just be curious and say, what is this trying to show me about myself, my relationship, my work, whatever area of your life it is? And maybe you'll be so lucky that the area that you have a challenge in, you'll see the shadowy content that's been hiding in your unconscious, and it'll come into your awareness so you can finally make some shifts. That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, this is like the material that you've been kind of like longing and waiting for that's been in the shadows, and all of a sudden you're like, I get it. I see it. Okay, I understand. I'm good to go, you know? Um, and then the last card for the month is so starting on the 28th is the new beginnings card, which is the full. And I just feel like that's so perfect after some of these cards where we're, if the shadow and the moon is about looking at ourselves and setting new intentions for the new moon, then how perfect to go into the last week of the month. We're in, Leo season. We're fully active in that. We're experiencing that Mercury retrograde slowdown, but that doesn't mean that we're like not starting some type of new journey, because that new beginnings card is the Fool, and the Fool is so curious and so full of wonder, and it's like, okay, what new path am I going down right now? And I told you there's going to be a lot of changes this month. You'll see it in your life. Something might move out of your life so something else can come in. You might feel like you're being fast tracked into your dreams coming true. It's a very potent and beautiful month for manifestation, but you gotta stay steady. And so this Fool card invites you into the new journey. It's saying, hey, a new path is available to you. Are you willing to take it? And I was just saying in my 3-day Becoming Her Now series, I was saying how there's two paths, and you can keep taking the worn path that you've been going down, that you know that path so well, and you're like, I've been there, done that. Or you can choose to go down the path of the unknown, because we're all being initiated into that right now. We don't really know what's happening. We know that the world is changing. We know that there's an opportunity to choose love over fear. And for some of you, it's gonna be so palpable and tangible what you see in your reality comparatively to others. Because if they're choosing fear, they're going to see all the negative, all the things that are happening. They're not going to see all the possibilities. But the people that are choosing love, like they're creating a whole new dimensional reality. They're going to see, and that new path of uncertainty is opening up to them. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just uncertainty is part of our lives. When we're going through change, there will be uncertainty because you have not walked that path before. So this week is there a new path arrives for you, and it says, okay, do you want to go down this path? Do you want to consider this? Do you want to change your life? Because all month long, you've been getting the Wheel of Fortune, the opportunities, the synchronicities coming in, and you have to be able to seize it. So it feels like by the end of the month, after you've had some clarity, you've worked on your, you're looking at relationships, and you're kind of looking at different things within yourself. You get this gorgeous opportunity to say, yeah, I'm going to choose the new path. I'm going to choose to open my heart to more to love. I'm going to choose for more vibrant health, whatever it is for you. So I'd love to hear in the comments what it is that has been challenging you and what it is that you're going to be choosing into as the month progresses. Let me know how you're doing. I'm so excited to get to be with you guys again. And I hope this supports you in really knowing how to energetically navigate the themes for each week. Take care. Be loving to yourselves. Do your energetic hygiene and believe that anything is possible.